Most of my videos focus on up-and-coming fake gurus, the young gurus on their way to the fake guru major leagues. Today's subject is an established scammer who will probably be elected into the Scamming Hall of Fame in the next few years. This guy is Michael T. Glaspie, who goes by Mike G. Big-time scammer who has only been caught by one state so far. This snake slithers in tall grass, making him hard to catch. He doesn't have much of a YouTube or any social media presence, which is why many of you probably haven't heard of him.
Minutes with Mike G. Today I wish to share with you something I believe to be very special, at least it has been for me.
Here's a landing page for the website partnerwithmike.com where you can see that Mike G is promoting a TeamVinh webinar. Here's the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's civil suit against TeamVinh, alleging that the group fraudulently raised more than $3 million from over 5,600 investors throughout the United States and in various foreign countries. They lured people into buying memberships in a program that TeamVinh claimed to be a referral network investors could use to earn an income from MLM companies without the investors having to do any work. If you watch my channel, then you know I love hearing someone promote getting rich without doing any work. It's a double bonus when it's getting rich by promoting a pyramid scheme. They sold investment contracts in TeamVinh, promising investors a percentage of TeamVinh's profits on a trading platform, with Lee guaranteeing investors 5% weekly returns. If you follow Mike G's moves over the past couple of decades, he loves MLMs, promising insane returns, screwing people over, and somehow mostly avoiding the law. Michigan just celebrated a big win last Saturday over Ohio State, but arguably their biggest win came last year when they sent a cease and desist to Mike G. In June of 2020, the parties resolved the notices and orders to cease and desist by entering into consent orders in which defendants agreed to not conduct any business in Michigan regulated under the act. This guy is such a scammer that Michigan was like, hey man, we appreciate you paying taxes here and calling this state your home, but no more conducting business here, cool? And then Mike G continued scamming people from other states. Not only did this scumbag take money from others, he kept the money when the tax man asked for his cut. Here's a notice of federal tax lien in the amount of $75,000 in unpaid taxes. Here's a notice of federal tax lien for $50,000. Are you ready for the grand finale? Here's the third notice of federal tax lien for $6.75 million. In order to owe millions in federal taxes, then he had to make multiples more. If you look deep enough into Mike G, you'll find that he always has a new way to make money in a new mega deal. He's like Dean Graziosi with fewer advertising dollars. Here's a forum post from 2009 of a Mike G mega mail deal. The poster copied the ad from the order form. He claimed they would send your ad to 10 million people for only $500. A few posts down, someone fell for his scheme and ordered the 1 million email option for $250. This person received their results and 1 million emails were actually sent out, but no one clicked on the links in their email. Another poster detailed that his email blast resulted in 0 clicks to his website, even though Mike G's analytics said that he had thousands. The best post on this specific forum thread is this next one. Mike G's newest deal. Mike G now has his own MLM company, RevUp31. What I really enjoyed about researching Mike G is that he always has a new scheme on the way. Somehow this guy has operated under the radar for so long and has gotten away with so much scamming that it's almost impressive. Here's a list I was able to find. Of course, none of them are even remotely legitimate or still in operation today. I think Mike G got tired of the smaller MLM and internet marketing scams because his new scam is orders of magnitude larger than anything he's ever pulled off. What you're about to see legit blew my mind, which I hope you understand how difficult that is since my whole life now revolves around looking into scammers. I was able to find the initial pitch for this deal in a behind MLM post. This poster received the email from an affiliate of Mike G. Greetings everyone. If you have been involved in the network marketing arena for any length of time, you have probably heard of Michael T. Glaspie or Mike G. He is one of a very few online associates that I trust without hesitation. If you are gullible enough to trust Mike G, then you're probably gullible enough to think all of these losing sports bettors I call out are winners too. I joined Mike in an amazing opportunity about 2 years ago, at which time I became a loan partner. As this project enters the final stage, Mike has given me permission to invite my subscribers to a live conference call during which you will learn how you can participate as a loan partner for as little as $500. This intro email was sent on February 26, 2021, so 2 years ago would mean this opportunity has existed since early 2019. Keep that in mind, okay? Just to give you an idea of what kind of opportunity we're talking about here. Here are the final really big payback numbers that you can expect if you invest in this deal. If you invest $100K into this deal, you can now expect to earn $56.25 billion. Not only will you become one of the wealthiest people on the planet, but he'll also throw in a Bentley GT convertible. I haven't confirmed if the Bentley is going to be new or used, but What an offer. $56 billion payout if you invest 100K. Have we lost our minds, people? The young fake gurus promote 100% returns in 6 months. This is a 10 million % return. How do you fall for this? And all loans are collateralized in 2 ways. For those of you who may not be familiar with the word collateralized, it just means an asset backing the loan. As an example, if you loan someone money to buy a car, the car is the collateral. If they stop paying you, you take the car and can sell it to get your money back. A collateralized loan is seen as less risky because theoretically, there is something backing your loan. 1. By the seller with an equal value of cryptocurrencies to cover every dime loaned. 2. Mike G's personal pledge to, in the absolute worst case scenario, pay everyone back their loan amounts out of his other corporate earnings at 7% annual interest, fully due and payable within 3 years from any date that we declare our deal as dead as a doorknob. If you ever find yourself in a situation like this where someone is asking for a collateralized loan, please get the contract in writing and find paperwork showing ownership of the asset backing your loan. Since I'm interested in being worth $56 billion one day, I decided to email the guy the net marketers call their secret weapon. This is my email to Mike G. Hello, a really trusted friend forwarded this email to me as an opportunity to make some money. In crypto, I have around $420 in Bitcoin. In cash, I have about $69. I do have some money available on credit cards. Mike G thanked me for making my collateralized personal loan pledge in the amount of $420 via Bitcoin. Normally, his minimum would be $500. Isn't this guy super nice? I was $80 short and he still provided the opportunity to me. One thing that he did unexpectedly was send me his Bitcoin wallet. Let's investigate. The Bitcoin address he sent me, which I'm assuming is his, has received a total of 70.06 Bitcoin. The value of that amount is just under $4 million. I was thinking to myself, holy smokes, $4 million? This guy has received $4 million for this deal in Bitcoin alone. Given his target audience is likely boomers, I wouldn't be surprised if Bitcoin is the smallest income stream. The total number of transactions is 1,241. As you'll see later, this is probably just a fraction of the people caught up in the scheme. If you scroll down, you can see transactions involving this wallet and where this wallet is sending Bitcoin. This latest one was sending 6.56 Bitcoin to another wallet. This transaction involved 600 wallets all sending to one address. 8.8 BTC being sent to this wallet caught my attention, so I clicked on it. The 8.8 BTC is worth a little over $500,000. Quite a lot, right? The most recent transaction in this wallet is really interesting. This wallet and 2 others are sending over 27 Bitcoin to 2 different wallets. I clicked on the wallet receiving 23 Bitcoin. This wallet has 1,335 Bitcoin, which is equivalent to almost $76 million. This is when I started wondering what kind of operation I'm looking into here. This wallet isn't that far removed from the wallet Mike G sent in the email. What we know is Mike G's wallet from the email has received $4 million. His wallet, along with 600 others, sent their Bitcoin to a wallet that has about $500,000 in it. That wallet, along with 2 others, sent 23 Bitcoin to a huge wallet with $76 million. I clicked on the other wallets that helped send the 23 Bitcoin. One was a smaller wallet, but the other one shocked me. This wallet has over 16,000 Bitcoin in it, which is worth over $900 million. This is a couple steps removed from Mike G's wallet, so I can't say for certain it's his or someone he knows, but the second wallet only has 2 transactions, one incoming and one outgoing. Only 27 minutes after receiving its only input, it teamed up with a wallet with $900 million in it. This is a little outside of my scope of understanding, but it does feel like Mike G is a part of a larger syndicate of some sort. Another option could be that he's using a spider web of wallets to hide his real transaction history and hide earnings. He does have a history of not paying his taxes. Mike G has somehow kept the facade of this exclusive deal going for years. He sends an update every day on the deal. Yes, every day. I'm seriously not joking. Every single day, he has a new update that comes with a plot twist as to why the deal hasn't closed yet. The update arrives with this layout. 2 shiny new Bentleys sit at the top of the page because remember, you'll win one if you loan $100,000. In today's update, please let me make this abundantly clear. The company does not need any more money from us. Only because my desire to be generous and help who I could, I depleted my reserve account almost entirely. And then he explains that one lady had her furnace go out and so he paid the contracting company to fix it. And then he explains that one of his team members' son became ill and so they needed a partial refund of $20,000. What scammer would do any of this? I love how he adds that last question in at the end. He's addressing that he's a scammer in a newsletter that doesn't have any public comments. This is like when a group of guys get together after a long week and in the middle of the conversation about sports, one of the guys says, "Hey man, what guy would talk about the Packers if he slept with your wife?" What? Mike says at the end that the seller did his registration work in Nevada yesterday, and right now, as I write this update, he is flying back to the East Coast to resume his work with the closing party, which has been there since Monday. From what I've gathered, Mike's opportunity is that some owner of a company is selling the company to a group of investors. Mike is pooling all of this money together to buy the company. The company is going to be a $1 trillion company in his mind. It's all made up, of course. Here's the update from yesterday. Unexpectedly, the seller boarded an early AM flight from the undisclosed location where the next phase of the closing meeting is taking place on the East Coast. He is headed towards LA to pick up documents from the buyer's lawyers and in fact is arriving at their offices at this very moment as I write this update. What he is getting from them is something that needs to be urgently registered at the courthouse in Nevada where his corporation is registered. What's so fascinating about these updates is that they become enjoyable to read. Every day you're thinking to yourself, there's no way he can come up with a new twist and turn as to why the mythical deal hasn't closed yet. And boom, he hits you with a story out of left field that you didn't expect, and you just need to wait until tomorrow for the next update. I'll give you some entertainment with these updates now. Here's the update from August 26, 2020, where the seller just finished non-stop legal meetings where he was informed the grand finale closing is a 2-day event scheduled to start tonight at the regular board meeting. At the bottom of the email, he gives you an idea of what kind of payout to expect. $100,000 loan will result in a $1 billion payout. If you put $250 into this deal, you can expect a payout of $750,000. He even says you can earn a referral bonus of 25% for screwing your friends or family over and allowing them to invest in Mike G's Bitcoin wallet. Mike G does have a long history with MLM, so he's very familiar with the lucrative nature of the recruiting model. On August 15th's update, the seller just called his partner Gary. A VIP and the head honcho of the lawyers and the seller think he is coming from the South Korean government to play a role in no doubt what they consider a deal of historic proportions. A couple days prior on August 13th, all week long I've been telling you the closing should take 2 to 3 days, but I just didn't know. Little legal issues have continued to crop up that only the lawyers can deal with. Nothing material, nothing that affects our payouts, nothing that affects the closing except they have to get done. Remember, this is a year and a half after the opportunity became available to people and more than a year ago from today. They still haven't closed on this fantasy deal. Nevertheless, the closing team from South Korea has said they are not going home until we get this deal closed, and quite possibly today now that all this miscellaneous legal BS is out of the way. Just a few hours later that day, he sent another update. We do not need to raise additional funds. However, I wouldn't mind having a few extra fungolas just in case we get hit with some out of the blue surprise. I must be ready for it, and I will offer you the same crazy return that I did the last time, but I must have it by credit card or wire by the end of business next Tuesday. These scammers are predatory to the worst degree. It's kind of sad that people fall for this, and they deserve to shoulder some of the responsibility, but people like Mike should have been locked away from society a long time ago. A couple months later in November, anyways, we do know the South Koreans are delighted that the stock market has shot up 1,000 points and Bitcoin is now at an all-time high for the year. This means there will be no need for the Seoul central bank to ask the 5 billionaire partners for additional collateral. There's a Google Drive with months of these updates saved, so I read through a lot of them. After the initial shock wore off at what I was reading, I realized how entertaining it was to always look for the new plot twist. It's seriously like reading an investing version of Harry Potter. It's a fantasy world full of people with magical investing powers. I just handpicked another update, but right now things are a little complicated. Because the bank wants to be one of the partners with the 5 billionaires, they are extending to the seller a great deal of latitude for his per diem requirement, and for all of my new partners, this per diem is calculated by formula, which includes the value of Bitcoin and includes the selling price of the company. His partner Gary constantly meets with the seller, if not in person, at least by phone several times per day, and I pay him to tell me personally about every call. I spent some time wondering why people would fall for this scheme and get caught up in possibly the most obvious scam I've ever come across. For one, both are driven by greed. Mike G is scamming because he cares more about money than the victims he's taking money from. 2, the people signing up for this have let their greed cloud their judgment. What blew my mind going through the Reddit forum for the Mike G deal is that people legitimately fell for this and still hold hope that the deal is going to go through. I'm sorry to say, victims of the scheme, but your money is long gone. Mike G needs to be in jail. He's committing massive amounts of fraud, and there's no telling where your money actually is. The Mike G deal subreddit contains a post about a guy named Neil Suresh Chandran, who is pictured here. He's been involved in scams and convicted of fraud as seen in this Ontario Securities Commission press release. Some people believe he is the mythical seller of this operation. I was also made aware of a group called Together We Profit. I tried joining the group on Facebook, but it's a paid members only group. I have access to a 16-page Google Doc for Together We Profit group, which teams up with Mike G to scam scam investors. There's a Q&A section for the payout. The first question shows that this group and Mike G are partners. There's claims of a $500K payout. They also say you will be paid out after closing and Homeland Security approval. They have your payout listed here. $100,000 pledge with Mike will result in a payout of $61.875 billion to Mike. With 4,000 positions, that means you'll receive a total payout of around $15.5 million each. That gives you a decent idea of how many people have been scammed, multiple thousands of people, and you have to check this out. They have a section for suggested books for you to read: The Sudden Wealth Solution, Sudden Wealth, Sudden Money, The Millionaire Mind. They're basically priming their audience into believing that they're about to be wealthy overnight, if only that vice president and his closing team from Seoul National Bank or whatever could close on the deal. They even include references to asset protection companies, offshore banking, offshore trust, insinuating that you'll need to park a bunch of cash in offshore banks after you receive all this money. It's insane to me how these types of operations can exist without anyone ever raising a red flag. The amount of manipulation here would make the scammy real estate seminar business salesman blush. Each $27 pledge will pay out $14 million. Everyone involved should have to pay restitutions once this scam topples over. This TWP group is every bit as guilty as Mike G. Whoever is running this group either has the IQ of a goldfish or is scamming just as badly as Mike G. I highlighted all the Bitcoin wallets earlier because I have a feeling they're all connected. These wallets are receiving Bitcoin from hundreds of wallets, and they're likely pouring it all into a separate wallet. In Mike G's cease and desist from the state of Michigan, they included an email from him stating that he'd pay out $1 million for every $10,000 you refer into a scheme. This guy is a constant scammer that somehow gets people to join his schemes and hides under the radar enough to not get caught. Doesn't pay his taxes either. What a real winner we have here. On a serious note, you should join his email list so you can read his updates. It's very entertaining. Thanks for watching.